Hey, my name's Josh and I take photos. Today I'm here to talk about what was going through my head when I was taking these photos that I took in Perth the other day. Starting off with this one here, which was my first photo I took pretty early in the day, so we had some very nice light coming from the early morning sun. As you can see, we had this lady walking down this alleyway, and she wasn't there originally. I was just standing on this bridge and I saw this streak of light on this wall that kind of illuminated a bit of the path, and I thought, that would be a good place for a subject to walk through. So I stood there for a while waiting for someone to walk, and I saw this lady with this brown paper bag, and I thought that was an interesting subject. So basically I took the picture and I was interested in playing with light that day. So as you can see, there'll be a theme throughout these photos of light. Anyway, so this is what the photo looked like before I edited it. So as you can see, it's a lot more colors, a lot more of it is visible, including this person here. Hello there. But no, she was the subject just here, and we obviously didn't want any of this extra stuff. So what I did was I obviously dropped the shadows quite a bit, so we didn't have so much of it in the shot. I also dropped the whites and boosted the contrast a little bit. I didn't really touch the curve with this one because I didn't see a need to. I increased the saturation, decreased the temperature, and you'll see that I did this on every single one pretty much today because my white balance was way off. I don't know what I was doing with that, so I've gone and fixed that in each one of them, so don't worry about the temperature. I also decreased the green, as you can see here. The green was kind of pulling focus from the lady who was the subject, so I did decide to turn that off. As you can see, it does make the brown paper bag a little bit more central, which was my plan. And cropping wise, I just cropped in a little bit. I do have a pretty good sensor, so I can afford to do that. But I really just cropped out a little bit of the distracting stuff at the top. So I did just kind of come down like this to make the lady in the middle more central. And I think it looked pretty good. Yeah, it was a good start to the day. So we have my next one here, which actually got age restricted on Instagram for some reason. I think because she's vaping, but she's not a kid, so I don't know why they age restricted it. Anyway, it was actually my favorite photo of the day, which is kind of sad because it did get taken to an age restriction, but that's okay. So basically the vision here, I saw this lady across the street with a vape, and I thought, that would be pretty cool because I saw this lighting and it was very harsh, very contrasty, and this is what it looked like before. Even without the edits, it was still quite harsh. So I thought, I'll wait for her to take a puff of the vape, and when she does, I'll take a picture. And I was actually very, very happy with how this one turned out. As you can see, the smoke acts as a kind of leading line to the face and the body, and then this little triangle of light here points directly at her as well, which definitely leads the eye to her. And then also kind of this on her leg also points up to her body, and this one here, and also this little angle here. So it's kind of all just angled right to her, which I'm really happy with how that one turned out. And as you can see with the edits, I didn't do too much, just increased the highlights all the way, dropped the shadows a little bit, did a little bit with the curve just to kind of increase the contrast there. I did desaturate these leaves because I think they were pulling attention from the subject, but I made sure to keep the wonderful gold color. She was wearing this cardigan or this jacket with these gold accents, as you can see, and also this bag. So I didn't want to desaturate that, so I only desaturated the area around. So just down here, here, here. Cropping wise, I just cropped in a little bit, didn't do too much there. And saturation, obviously I only went around with a mask. I'm trying to get the mask, there we go. So yeah, that's the saturation. I desaturated everywhere where that red mask is. and I added this down there as well. And then I also did this linear gradient on both sides, which kind of makes this trail down the middle, which further kind of accentuates this subject. So I was pretty happy with that one, and I'm a little bit upset that it got age restricted, but I don't really care. Next, we have this one, which actually I was pretty lucky. I sent it to the barbershop Instagram page, and they did end up putting it on their Instagram story, which is pretty cool. I saw this reflection of this car in the barbershop window, and I thought, you know what, that would make a good shot if I can get the barber. So I waited for him to turn around with this awesome little shirt he's wearing with the name of the barber, that one there. So it looked like this before. As you can see, a lot more colorful, but it was kind of dark. And these greens, I really like this plant up here. It kind of frames it, and this one here, it kind of makes this frame, which kind of comes down the middle with the car, this leading line up to the kind of word. Ideally, we wouldn't have this cutting through the word, it would go above or below it, but I can't get everything I want, sadly. So basically, I just desaturated the whole thing, except for the headlight there, just to make it look a little bit moody. The greens from the leaves are still kind of there, if you can see that. But yeah, I think it looks pretty cool. Next up, we have this one. I was trying to get a picture of this guy here, and looking back on it, I can see a kind of image I would have liked. If I had have come a little bit closer, I could have gone down the middle there, and he could have been just stuck out. Would have been pretty cool. But I am pretty happy with what I got anyway. This guy here walked past at the perfect moment. He's got a really nice silhouette, as you can see, very defined face and hair. And this orange building at the back, that is pretty much straight out of camera. I just brightened it a little bit, and I was really into that kind of thing. I did notice a second ago there was this archway that I cropped out, so that would have been pretty cool. In fact, that image there is almost better, I would say, because it's kind of got this leading line coming around here framing him. So I don't know why I cropped that out to this. I actually might just leave it like that. But yeah, I actually prefer it now like that. But yeah, it was a pretty nice one. Actually, I might just center him a little bit. Oh, okay, that's why I cropped him out, because I wanted him centered. Maybe a bit lower. Yeah, so something like that. Yeah, so basically all of the edits are very minimal on this one. It was pretty much just a brightening a little. Mask-wise, I didn't do any of those. I didn't remove anything, so it was just that one, yeah. Next up, we have this one, which is another reason my post got age restricted, I believe. As you can see, she is also smoking. Now, this was an interesting subject because I was out with my mate, Swam, and as you can see, this lady here, he also got a picture of her. I don't think he posted it, but she was actually a recurring subject that we didn't even know until after the shoot, where we looked through the photos and were like, oh, I took a picture of her too. But yeah, she made a nice subject, especially with this very textured kind of jumper she's wearing. And she has this orange coffee cup, which is quite nice. And then I saw this reflection and these kind of ripples from the fountain, and I thought, you know, that would make a good kind of complement to the subject. So I kept that in. And I'll tell you, it looked like this before. So I've darkened it quite a bit, as you can see, just to kind of make this diagonal kind of zone like that the main focus. So here's the masks I used, just one at the top and one at the bottom to make that diagonal that I often do use. And then finally, one here, just like that, just to darken that area a little. And then I did go in with the stamp, just to get rid of a bunch of stuff I didn't want, like this in the corner there, and just some random spots of light that I didn't really like and were kind of pulling focus. So I did just clean it up a little bit, and I'm happy I did that because it's definitely made like an arch around the subject. But yeah, this is not my favorite from the day, but I decided to keep it just because it has a few elements that I do like. Okay, so next up, this is actually my current phone wallpaper. I do like taking these kind of abstract photos, like this one here. This is actually the side of a building, as you can see. This is what it looked like when I took it. So we have these kind of panels on the side of the building, and this is actually like a tarpaulin that's like clipped to the side of the building to cover some vents, I believe. So it was an interesting thing to look at, and I thought this would make a nice one of those abstract shots that I do get a lot. So I just desaturated it, as you can see, nothing too much, just desaturated it, add a bit of contrast, kind of brought down the highlights, as you can see on the curve, and then I did flip it upside down, which I do quite often, just to add a little bit more mystery. I know it's a bit cheap, it's like an easy thing to do, but when it's done right, I think it can be interesting. I'm not sure if I've done it right here, but yeah, it does make it a little bit more difficult to tell what it is, which I do like, kind of the feeling of when you're looking at an image. So you can let me know if I should keep it the other way around or flipping it was okay. But yeah, that was the kind of vision with this one. Next up we have this one of this lady with the kind of flared pants walking down this road. This is probably my least favorite of the day. It's just, I liked the shadow, and I liked the kind of movement with these pants, with especially these like sharp angles. But I couldn't find a way to frame it very well. So this is what it looked like before. So I didn't really do much. I just kind of brightened it. Yeah, it wasn't the greatest photo. I think there was potential, maybe if she was a little further back. But the problem with that was you can see the shadow would have been on the window and behind this pole, which I didn't really like. So I should have probably moved a little bit and waited for someone else to pass, but I just thought that these pants and the shoes were just a great subject that I wasn't going to get again, so I just decided to keep going. But yeah, I think I like the green and the red. I decided to keep that in when I often decide to desaturate the colors to draw focus, but since she was pretty much all dark, and she might have even been clipping a little bit. Yeah, she was clipping a little when I took it. I thought there was no point brightening up the subject, so I might as well brighten up the surrounding area. So yeah, I wasn't really happy with this one, but I did keep it just because it had potential, you know. This one, with the motorbike and the ambulance, I really liked, and I stumbled across this ambulance, and I kind of crossed the street because I didn't want to interfere with what's going on there, but then this motorbike comes past real quick, and luckily my Canon Mark II, which I'm actually filming on right now, has a great stabilized sensor, which managed to keep the motorbike pretty sharp, even though I was kind of following it, and of course there was some motion blur around the motorbike, which I really love when I can get that right. You may remember the Red Bull car I also got in Perth last year. I also used that technique. Anyway, so I decided to desaturate most of the image, but keep these sirens and the flashing lights from the ambulance. And then of course, I kept the saturation of the motorbike as well. I used a mask for that, just to keep this in focus. I used the smart mask, the AI, but it didn't really like the this area here, so I decided to just desaturate the whole thing there, just because you couldn't really tell anyway. And then a little bit with the ambulance lights with the brush, just there, you know, because I wanted to keep that color in, and I'm pretty happy with how it turned out. As you can see with the edits, I didn't really do much. I just made the contrast a bit more, I increased the exposure slightly, didn't really mess with the curve. It was pretty good out of camera, just had to desaturate it. And as you could probably see, I do like desaturating specific parts of the image. I don't know if it's getting overused at this point, but I do quite like the way it turns out. And then finally, this was my least favorite when I took it, but I've actually grown to like it, because a lot of people have said that this was their favorite out of the batch, and I've just kind of, you know, I do see it. I was sitting in Perth, I was sitting in Forest Chase, where if you've been there, you know there's a lot of pigeons that hang around there. And I was just taking some pictures of some people walking by when a kid ran behind me and scared off some pigeons, and I thought, you know what, that'd make a good shot. So I quickly panned up to see these pigeons right above me, in front of the old bank that you can see in the background here. And I'm actually happy that they weren't in focus, because it kind of adds to the mood that I was experiencing there, where it was like kind of very impromptu, very rushed, and I think that is kind of what I would like this image to be communicating. As you see, I got pretty lucky with the framing. I had this tree kind of dividing the frame in half. If I was a bit more purposeful with it, I would have done something more like this to keep it directly in half, although I don't think I could have done that very easily. But I do like how this bird makes like a little frame for this one here, and kind of goes down the center line a little bit. I could make it more accurate and move it up a little bit, but that would have cut off the top of this pigeon, and I really liked having two in the shot. It was a really lucky and well-timed shot. No skill on my behalf, I literally just turned up and took the picture, but I actually do end up liking the way it looks. But yeah, I didn't really do much to it because I didn't really like it in the first place. I just turned down the highlights, boosted the shadows, contrast a little bit, didn't really mess with the curve. Obviously I desaturated it because I wasn't really happy with the way it looked before. I don't like the lighting in that area. It's very flat, there's no contrast, and I don't really like the colors in Forest Chase. It just doesn't really jump out at me. If I had have liked this image more when I was editing it, I would have kept the color of the feet of the pigeons, because that red would have stood out quite nicely, but I didn't, which I do regret now. Let's just do it now, might as well. So this is what it would have looked like if I had have done it the way I should have. As you can see, the red is still in the feet of the pigeons, and I just like it better like that, I think. It just looks a lot nicer compared to before. Yeah. Anyway, so that is all the images I took in Perth on my little outing with my mate. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video and have seen what I was seeing with my visions. Let me know in the comments if you have any feedback or advice for me, because I've only been doing this for 3 years, so obviously I'm getting better every time. And yeah, so just leave a comment, leave a like, give me a share if you want. Go to my Instagram page and you can give some of these images a like if you like them. And yeah, take a look at my work. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.